Hello, students. A very warm welcome to you. In our next unit 3, let me tell you that I am not going to cover any topic here in detail. Basically, this 15-minute lecture is going to give you a brief idea what unit 3 is surrounded by and what are your expectations and what should be your trail of thoughts. How you are supposed to think. If unit 1 was history, unit 2 was theories, unit unit 2 was theories, unit 3 is basically going to be a practical approach. You are going to say, yes, sir, there are so much theory, so many different concepts, what Marx has given, what Emile Durkheim is saying, what is ethnometeorology by so and so, what is Weber's phenomenology, blah, blah, blah. How am I going to implement this all theoretical information is what unit 3 is designed for. So that is the reason I say if unit 2 was all about theoretical approach, unit 3 will be all about a pragmatic approach. It is going to establish a phenomena in the practical aspects. If I need to implement those concepts in the social world, if I need to conduct an experiment, if I need to do some sort of a research, what are the different methodologies that I can use? How am I supposed to analyze on the basis of free floating data that I have? So this unit is going to have three areas. The first is any kind of research, it will be categorized into two types, quantitative and qualitative. Although new methods are coming, which is called as mixed methods. Both of them are blended together. We'll talk later, not now. Then we are having techniques of data collection and then some important concepts. If you look at data, if I ask in the class, how many of the students have taken sociology as an optional? If it is a GS class, some number of students will raise their hand. So what am I going to do? I'm looking at the data in a quantitative manner. I can count that I can see here 4-5 hands. I can see over here 7-8 hands. So when I bring all of them together, this is going to be a quantitative approach. In quantification, what really happens is you are trying to bring a number or an objective representation of the data. So what is the meaning of the word quantitative? What is the meaning of the word qualitative? In quantitative, I am going to look at different forms of facts. I am going to look at numbers. These are basically going to be high number of variables. Here, whatever is present, it is present in an objective manner. So quantitative data which are present, like which political party is going to win, by how many number of seats, by how many number of votes. It's a quantitative way of looking at it. But if I ask those students, why have you picked up sociology? Now, this question of why, it is not just a superficial information. Whenever we look in quantification of data, we look at some superficial information. But whenever we are talking about qualitative data, we look at the information which more amount of depth to it. So quantification is a superficial exploration. Qualitative data is like an in-depth exploration. You always ask the question with the word why. I shouldn't be saying the word always, but most of the time, for you to scratch the surface, for you look at this in-depth form of knowledge, we need the question why, or we need to ask the question how. If I ask the question like which countries were involved in World War One and World War Two, or which countries were common in World War One and World War Two, I can say, okay, UK was one common country. Germany, obviously, it was a common country. It's a very superficial information. But if I ask the question why Germany was involved in World War One and then again in World War Two, now you see the information needs to be more in depth. I need to bring some analytical points and tell that no, in World War One there was a Treaty of Versailles, there was humiliation for the Germans, a revenge was designed. The person who designed that revenge was Hitler. He again established World War Two. So here there are two ways in which how a research is conducted. So in in quantification, we have got facts, variables, objectivity. But in the case of qualitative data, the data is being established on the basis of index exploration. It is on the basis of communication, large level of reading. Here we require some analysis. We require some kind of interpretations. Here we can come direct to conclusions. But to here arrive at conclusions, you need all the form and then there must be a large level of inference as well. So there is a separation. We are going to study what are the different forms of data. Now the question comes how the data is going to be collected. Which means I'm a sociologist and I want to collect the data. And how am I going to bring this data together? There are different methods that I'm going to use. So for me to establish a data in the case of, excuse me, yeah, for me to establish the data in the quantitative aspect, what am I going to do? I'm going to establish a questionnaire. Have you ever gone to a hospital? They give you a piece of paper. Give me all the data that belongs to you. Give me your name. Let me know your gender. What is the age that you're having? What chief complaint? Do you have a history of heart diseases, diabetics, any other problem, ailment, etc.? So the way in which how quantitative data is collected, it is on the basis of questionnaires. It is collected on the basis of surveys which are there. Polls are being conducted. In this way, whatever answers I'm going to get, they are going to be highly specific in nature. But if I'm truly looking for an in-depth information, one way to explore that information is interview. I need to sit with you and I need to talk to you and ask why did you take up sociology as an option? You are not going to give me a specific data. You will tell me a little bit of a story from your past. You are going to tell me that why you were inclined towards this subject. Yes, you can give me a specific information that it is a scoring subject or some toppers have taken in the past, but that is not going to be a sole reason why you have taken. There must be something else that also attracts you. Why did you not go with the optional which scored the best after 2 years back? Why are you not selecting the optional in which some of your known person has scored? You know that person has scored civil services. They have got good score. Why did you not take? Why did you take this? So that information is not just going to be specific. There are going to be some peripheral areas. You need to ask this question, why and how. And then to get this interview is not the only method. There are methods such as case studies are being conducted. Apart from the case studies and interview, group discussion is also a method. Documentaries are also going to be there. So largely this information is going to be present at an in-depth level. Here we are supposed to do the mining. Here we are supposed to do some scratching, basic scratch, small information, large information. And then we are having some important concepts which establish. I would suggest this concepts of research should be the first topic, but let's not try to correct the syllabus. Let's try to go in the same order what we are having. Every sociologist, before conducting any research, they must be well versed with all these concepts. What is the meaning of variables? Before conducting your research, you should know what are the different variables that you are going to have. Like, for example, if I'm doing gender studies, there are 2 to 3 variables: men, women, and other genders. If I'm doing a regional study, there are 4 variables. What is the regional? A region can be divided into 4 variables: north, south, east, west. You can create, but at least there will be 4 variables. If I'm creating variables on the basis of caste studies, so I will be having 4 or 5 variables which are there. Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudras, Dalits. These are going to be 5 variables. If I'm doing a study on the basis of Jati systems, hundreds of different variables will be created. If I'm creating a study on different states of India, tens and dozens of variables are going to be created. And then once you understand how many different variables are being produced, you need to collect a small amount of data. And from where you're going to collect that small data, it is called as sampling, or it is also called as the target audience. And then before conducting a research, you need to bring certain amounts of assumptions. What is the hypothesis? It is your guesswork. It is your experiential knowledge that your hypothesis need not be always right. It can be wrong. In many scenarios, it can be wrong. Hypothesis is basically your general idea about the topic on which you are conducting a research. And then reliability is basically the measurement of your accuracy. Whatever you wanted to measure, are you able to repeat it again and again? I have my own research methodology. I can give to somebody else. If they take it and are they going to get the same answers as my answer, then my test is considered as reliable. And validity is what you wanted to measure, very successful in measuring that. That is a validification. So here We'll not be looking at in detail for every, but these are the five concepts on which these are the five concepts on which research terminologies are being revolving. So we are having variable sampling, etc. We have got more number of concepts. What is the meaning of verification? What is experimental variables? What is random stratified sampling? How hypothesis is not supposed to be created? What are the different methods to check the reliability? We will look into this topic when we are doing the syllabus. If you want me to deal with a specific topic, let me know in the comment section. So in our today's lecture, we have looked up the third unit, research method and analysis. So qualitative techniques and data collections, what we looked up, and then we have this. And then in our next video, we are going to study one thinker. This is the topic that I love to talk about. What what uh, what exactly one thinker is trying to tell? I am going to be taking not a specific topic, but I am going to be taking one specific thinker and their contributions around it. I am going to give you a holistic explanation of what the whole syllabus is surrounded by. So what is the thing that Karl Marx wants to highlight? Who is Immanuel Durkheim? I am going to take at least some 20 to 30 minutes of lectures on one aspect of one thinker, and then we are trying to understand that. I'll see you in the unit 4. Have a nice day.